Hey guys, I was just gonna jump on here really fast and show you about how to create some brushes you can use for different things. And technically they are brushes, but the ones I'm gonna show you I would basically consider like a stamp that you can use, like a stamp that you buy, and I'll show you the reason why I say that. You know to go and create your document in Affinity Designer. And remember, this one is Affinity Designer, not Affinity Photo, not Affinity Designer for iPad. This is Affinity Designer on a computer. And I use Microsoft, or I have a laptop that I use. I don't use Apple. I don't know anything about Apple, so we're going to get started. And please forgive my voice, it still doesn't come back. So you come over here, you have your document created. Remember, anytime we're doing anything with brushes or anything like that, you have to be up here in your pixel persona. You cannot do it in your designer persona, it will not work. So come over here, click brushes, and then click these three little lines right here and the dot. Click it, left click it. We're going to create a new category, and it comes up and it says brushes. And let's see, and then you click on that and it'll bring you up, and you'll see there's nothing in it. Like if we went to the pencil brushes, you see there's all different kinds of brushes in it. So this is empty, so we can sorry guys, it's empty because we're going to create new brushes. So go over here back to the little line and dots, go down here where it says new image brush, click it. It will bring up your images, and you can only use PNG files for this. So I'm going to do this because I'm going to show you you can do different things. I'm going to do this, let's do this coffee cup right here. So I'm going to open it, and you see that it created like a brush. And so what we're going to do is we're going to right click it, and we're going to edit this brush. And right here where it says size, I usually do it like 3000 pixels, but some people do it in 2500 pixels. For right now, I'm going to do it in 500 pixels and hit enter, and it makes it a little bigger. I don't change the accumulation, I don't change the hardness, I don't change the spacing, I don't mess with any of this. I don't change any of the dynamics or the textures. I will show you some other stuff with the textures in a little bit. And the sub brushes I do not change. So when you do it, just change the size and click close. So come up here, and you see our color is white with the stroke off. You can change it if you want, which I'll change it just so we can have play with some fun colors. We'll do pink. Go back to brush, make sure that's selected. Go back over here, or come over here to your brush. And remember, we're in our pixel persona. We are not in our designer persona. So, see, it brought this up from that. And this is why I said it's like a stamp. So, just click it, and you now have a cup. And you can resize it. And the reason I like doing this is because you're probably thinking, oh, I can just go get a free cup file off of something. That's true, you can, and it has to be the color that you left it. But, oop, I didn't mean to do that. But with this, watch what you can do. You have it selected. Go to our color, and you see we have it pink. Click on the flood fill thing, and look what you can do. And you can change these different colors. But look, if you're going to change these colors and sell this as an image, make sure you zoom in and get all these little spots. And it may take some time, but your image will look more crisp and more professional. Oh, see what it did? We don't want to do that. That's why you want to zoom in and make sure. Like if you zoom in a little more, you can get, but make sure you get these little white spots. You see what I'm talking about? Let me do this side, and then I'll show you. Oh, did it again. You've got to be really careful. And you can always undo it. That's the nice thing about this. But this is why I created technically it's a paintbrush, but I'm going to call it a stamp, because that's what it's like to me, is like a stamp. Because you can create it and you can change the colors. So that's why I consider it a stamp. But it's technically a brush, because I'll show you here in a minute after I finish coloring this side. Oh, did it again. You just gotta be really careful with this so you don't get the black. Bear with me, guys, sorry. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you see. Okay. I am going to do this whole side, though. So you can kind of get the point of what I'm going to show you the difference when you don't clean up your image and make sure all the little pixels are the color that they're supposed to be. Oh, there. See, you gotta be really careful. And if I zoomed in a little more, it probably wouldn't be so hard. See, it's much easier when I zoom in. It's just a trial and error thing. You just gotta look and do it, and that one doesn't want to color. Let's see if I can get it this time. Nope. Oh, there we go. He was being picky. Let's see. Anyways, you see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to zoom out. You see the difference, how on this right side where my fill brush or my fill bucket is, where I colored it, and on this side you can see the difference. Now say I wanted to color this lid and I wanted to do it in a black. So I go up here and change this to black, and see on this particular cup it's letting you do each little layer. But like I said, make sure you zoom in and you color all of these. If not, your image will not look crisp, it will not look professional, and then you'll sell an image and it will not be good quality. Say you wanted to make that lid, say you're doing like fun, funky colors. Let's go, I'm going to do this to the neons and pastels. I'm going to do it like a, let's do it this color, this turquoise color. See, it's kind of fun and funky. And you can just play with it, you know? And then leave the little part white, see? But make sure when you do it, you color all these little pieces. These little white pieces. So make sure you leave the black, but around where these white pieces are, color it that turquoise or teal color so it looks professional. Okay, now you saw that. Now I'm going to show you why it's considered a brush also. And then you can save that in a PNG format and you can sell it. You can go back to the, let's see, you can go back to, if you wanted to add the little ring thing that you get at like Starbucks and stuff like that, you can go back to the designer persona and just play around with it. And actually, let's do a square one and just make a shape like the little thing is and put it on here. You can just play around with it. Make those curves, make those, well, that doesn't look right, but, I mean, you kind of know, I mean, you can kind of play around with it a little bit and make it like, you can curve these, like, get your corner tool, and you can click this, and hold shift and click this, and then bring it in together. See where it does that? Where, I mean, you don't necessarily have to do that, but you kind of see. And you can just play around and make different shapes and stuff like that. You don't have to have it. But now I'm going to go back to the pixel persona, and I'm going to show you why this is considered a brush. I'm going to click on it again, and I click my paintbrush, and now, hold on, let's move this. We're going to size this down so we don't color on it. Okay. Now, make sure when you do this, you're not clicking and this is not clicked. So unclick it, unselect it, go to your tool brush, click on your paintbrush, and you can do whatever color. But this is why it's a a paintbrush, because look. Not that you want that, but it's fun to have it and you can do whatever. But I really consider these a stamp. I'm not going to call it a brush, I'm going to call it a stamp. And look, you can rename this brush. You see what I did there? Cancel. Click on it, right click it, hit rename brush, and I did coffee cup 1, and I'm going to click OK. And this, you can edit these, right there it is. Okay, there's what it, I was getting confused, sorry. You see how it says brushes? Now I figured it out, sorry. It's been a long day. Click on your arrow, or your little dots, and it says rename category. That's where you can name it. So if you want to call it stamps, that's what we're going to call it. We're just going to name it stamps. And click OK. So now all your stamps are there. So you see all your brushes, and then you have those. So we're going to do one more. We're going to create one more so I can show you all the different. We're going to create a new image brush. It's going to bring up your stuff. And we're going to do, let's see, I'm going to get a pumpkin since it's close to Halloween. Oh, let's go to, sorry, I have so much stuff saved in here. Halloween pumpkin. Okay, this Halloween pumpkin. And you see how it did it? Like it did the other. We're going to edit the brush. I'm going to change the pixels to 500. And that's all I'm going to do on these. I'm going to leave it just like that. Click close, and then excuse me, the color, I'm going to let's see if it, since the pumpkin is orange, I'm going to see if it'll stay orange, because this one is a trial and error on this pumpkin, and this is my first time doing it, so we're going to learn together. So let's click the brush, your paintbrush tool, and you see, so turn your colors off, and it automatically does the orange because it was in orange. So now you've created a pumpkin stamp. But let's see if we can fill it with color like we did the other one, since it's a new stamp. So let's see, let's do this brown color. Oh, see, it colored all of it. But remember yesterday that I showed you, or not yesterday, on my last video, I showed you that you could place an image inside of your images, or inside of your thing. So you saw we created that stamp. Like I said, I'm calling it a stamp, even though it's a brush. So let's see. We're going to see about placing an image inside of that stamp. So let's get, let's see. Where I'm from, cheetah and the Sherpa print is really, really popular. So let's do a cheetah print, because cheetah print's cool. Okay, I'm gonna, where it's covering it, let's take it and drag it and drop it inside there. You see how I did that? And now you have a cheetah print pumpkin. But let's see. Let's make another stamp. I mean, not another stamp. Let's get this pumpkin and get our brush and stamp it. And we're going to do this, size it the same size if we can. It's a little bigger than, it's almost the same. Anyways, we're going to bring this below this. And we're going to, and I know I said this is a brush video, but bear with me. We're going to see about taking the opacity of this cheetah one and see. You see how I did that? And it kind of turned it like an orange cheetah. You can do that. But anyways, let's go back to what we were doing. Okay. Now we're going to, I'm going to delete this. Now let's get back to the brushes. Go back up here to your little lines and dots. And now we're going to create a new, let's do a new round brush. So you see it brought this round brush up, right? It created this round brush. Right click it. We're going to edit this brush. We're going to change the size to 500. And then this is where all this other stuff, you see how it made it big like that? You can make it, if you want it smaller, you can do it smaller. Just depends on what size you want it. Let's see. Look how tiny this one is. See? And then the accumulation, watch what it does. It's at 100%. We're going to take it and it kind of just, you see how it kind of fades it out a little bit? That's the brightness, I'm assuming, but it just makes it brighter. The hardness of it, you see how it kind of fades out a little bit like that? You see? Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. Edit brush. Okay, the spacing of it. Okay, let's turn this back up to 25. The spacing of it, you see how it does, you see what it's doing? Kind of makes it like a dot. That's at 65. Now, the flow of it, you can do like, you see it's making it lighter, or that. Let's leave it at 80. Now the shape is at 100, but let's drag it down and see what it does. You see how it made it like that? This is just like, it's just like you can play around with it. Let's leave it at 75. Now the rotation, watch what it does with the rotation. You see how it curved it? And kind of made it like a different shape. Or you can take it back and it can be round again. We're going to leave it like that. And these blend modes, you can either make it normal, darken, multiply, burn. There's all different kinds. I just leave it at normal, or don't set blend mode. And then I don't, like the don't set wet edges. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Set wet edges on. You see what it did? Okay, we're gonna leave that on for now, because I want to see what it does. Now the jitter and stuff like that. Let's show you. It's at 0%. Let's see what it does. You see how it did it? It's doing that. Kind of moves it and makes it bigger. I don't want it like that, so I'm going to leave it. The accumulation jitter. I'm not messing with that either. It's just a play. You can play around till you see it, or how you want it to look. And then the scatter, see how the scatter did that? And it brought them where it looks like that. I want it to stay like this. And then the scatter Y, you see how I did that? This would be a good one if you're trying to make like chunky glitter, I think. We're going to try this. We're going to leave that at, let's see. We are going to move the X up some. Okay. We moved the X up to 55. Now the hardness jitter is at at 0. So we're going to leave that at 0. The shape jitter. Nope, I want to say that. The hue, you see that? And then the saturation. We're going to leave all those the same. And the luminosity, we're going to put at, let's do 60. Okay. Now, the texture. This is where, I'm not going to mess with this yet, but when I said in this mode, the none, the final, and the nozzle. On the next brush, I will show you what the nozzle is. But on this one, I'm just going to leave it at none. And then we're going to close this. We're going to delete this cup. Okay, so we have this new brush. Let's get a color. Let's get a pretty turquoise. Go over to our paintbrush. And it's only at 25. Let's do 500. See what it does. You see how the bit. It's being silly. Sorry. Delete that. Now go back to our paintbrush. Click on our paintbrush. Make sure you're on the color, not the stroke. That's what I was doing. Okay, now go back up to, we're going to do 250. You see how it just, because I changed the luminosity and stuff like that, now you have this. And if you wanted to do like gray, you can do gray. You can do any color. But basically it's like a dot brush. And I'm still, like I said guys, I'm still learning a lot of this stuff too, but I'm going to test this and see if this is a way that I can make glitter. Because everybody's always like, oh, how do you make glitter? So I'm going to see how you do that. Okay, but you see that, that's that brush. And just play around with it and do it like that. I'm going to do one last one because this video is getting long. Okay, last brush. Going to brushes. Create new square brush. So it created your square brush. We're going to edit it, remember? Right click, edit brush. And it brings it up. And here we are with the size again. We're going to take it down some. The accumulation, we're going to leave it 100. The hardness, let's see. Let's take the hardness to 55. Now the spacing, here we go. See the spacing? I took it to, let's do 40. The flow of it is at 100, but let's see. You see how that looks? That's at 70. Now the shape, you see how it changes the shape like that? Okay, I have that at 45 because I kind of like it. And like I said, this is just something you can play around with. Now the rotation, you see how it changed completely and it's rotating it? But I'm going to leave it at 0. Now let's go to the dynamics. Let's see. You see how it's changing it? I'm not going to change it. But you see how the accumulation jitter changes the colors. As you saw on the dot one, that's where those different colors come in. So when you do this, these dark colors are going to be either grays and whites, or it may be your color. Just depends. I'll show you in a minute. Now let's see the flow. Is it? You see how it's changing? Okay, we're gonna leave that right there. And then the scatter X and Y, I'm going to actually leave. Oh, that's kind of fun. I'm going to leave it like that. And then the shape, I'm going to leave the shape alone. The hue, you see how it makes it brighter? Or the saturation makes it. Let's leave the saturation at 40. We're going to put the hue at 20 and see what that does. And we're just going to play around with it. The luminosity jitter, let's see. You see that? This is kind of fun. We're going to play with this. We're going to put this at 45. Now here comes the mode that I've been talking about. We're going to make this into a nozzle. Click on nozzle. And let's see. We're going to leave that. And then hit close. Now we're going to pick a color. We have that. Let's choose this purple. Let's turn this stroke off. Purple. So click on your paintbrush. And we have it at 43. Let's do 100. So remember, it's a nozzle, so it's going to kind of look like spray paint. You see that? How cool is that? You just have to play around with it, really. And then if you go over it, it's gonna... You see how it did that? But, I mean, let me zoom in. You see how that looks? Is that not cool? I'm gonna actually do a round one really fast and show you. But these are really, really cool. If you change the different things like I showed you, you can get these different effects like this. Let's do one more. I'm gonna do a round one. Let's see. Brushes. New round brush. And then we're going to edit, brush, and then do it a little smaller. This one we're just going to do really fast. And this one I'm just playing around with. It's nothing, because I want you to see the spray paint. Or the nozzle, should I say. Okay, now go to texture and mode. Excuse me. And nozzle. Now close it. Let's zoom out. Click on your paintbrush. And then click on, let's do 100. And then let's see. You see it's like a spray paint. And you see how it's the different colors. That's because you changed all those different little things that I showed you. And you don't have to change them, and then they won't be that color. But I will do another video where it shows where it's just regular and it's not where it's changed. But I wanted to get on here and show you how to create the image brush, which I'm calling a stamp because I showed you how to do the square brush and the round brush. There is an intensity brush, which I'm not messing with that. I'm not doing anything with that right now. But I just wanted to show you these, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, comments, please comment below. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will post another video soon. Thanks. Bye.